Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss about biomolecules. So what are biomolecules? Biomolecules are a type of chemicals or molecules present as essential components of organisms. As essential components of organisms or referred as biomolecules. So all the chemicals or molecules present as essential components of organisms are called as biomolecules. Collection of or sum total of various types of biomolecules in a cell. That means all these biomolecules present in a cell are being referred as cellular pool. What we call it as cellular pool. A biomolecule mainly consists of carbon, hydrogen. Along with these two carbon and hydrogen, it may also contain oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, nitrogen and other elements but are less common. Okay, the majorly they are being called as hydrocarbons. And these biomolecules present in the cellular pool functions as a raw materials for carrying out various biochemical reactions. And then coming to the properties of biomolecules, before going into this, just I want to tell you why these biomolecules are present and what they are important in the how they are acting as a raw materials. Okay, so most biomolecules or derivatives of hydrocarbons. I told you they are having majorly as a carbon and hydrogens, and these are going to be connected with a covalent linkage. So which kind of the linkage they are possessing? It's a covalent linkage, and the carbon backbone is going to have the attachment of the hydrogen, so we are calling it as a hydrocarbon uh, derivatives. The backbones of hydrocarbons are very stable. So that means the major structure is going to be of very stable, whereas the hydrogens that are being attached to these carbons are going to be replaced by a variety of functional groups. So why they are going to be replaced? To yield different types of organic compounds. So example, the hydrogens can be removed by and a functional group can be like amino, amido, esters or ethers, phenyl, disulfide. Like this, so many functional groups can replace these hydrogen compounds, okay, hydrogen atoms, and they are going to form a different organic compounds. Okay, all biomolecules, so these biomolecules remain in a state of flux. What do you mean by flux? They are going to have some sort of a transformation from here to there. Okay, so they constantly undergo chemical transformations, and these transformations are going to be generally we call it as together put together we call it as metabolism. So that's how you're having your glycolysis cycle, your TCA cycle. So these are all going to be occurred because of the biomolecules. So each substrate of those cycles are being referred as biomolecules. Okay, and now coming to the properties of biomolecules. So what is the first property? I said these biomolecules are macromolecules. That means they are large in size. If you check the proteins are made up of the polymers of amino acids. So like that we are going to be calling it them as macromolecules. Then they are going to have the building block with a specific directionality. They are going to have some sort of a polarity from one direction to the other, and then they are informational and possess a characteristic three-dimensional architecture. So they are having some sort of a information like take the nucleic acids, so obviously our genetic information was stored in it. So they are also going to have a 3D architecture. Then weak forces of the bonds maintain the biological structure determined biochemical interaction. So they possess the weak forces by which if you are having the replacement of any functional group or biochemical interactions can be occur because of these weak forces. So these are the few properties of biomolecules. So let's see the different types of biomolecules or the classification of biomolecules that we are having. Okay, so here is a classification of the biomolecules depending upon several factors, like based on the chemical component that is present in the biomolecules, based on the size or molecular weight and solubility of biomolecules, or based on their combination with the other compounds. So let's see the first one, that is based on the chemical component. So coming to the chemical component, biomolecules are being classified into two types, that is inorganic and organic biomolecules. The inorganic biomolecules contain minerals, gases, water, whereas the organic biomolecules are going to have amino acids, sugars, proteins, lipids, nucleotides, etc. Okay. Then coming to the biomolecules of the second classification, based on their molecular weight and the solubility or size, we are going to have two types majorly, micromolecules and macromolecules. So what do you mean by micromolecules? Micromolecules are the small sized simple biomolecules. So this is what we are discussing. These are very simple, uh, small, simple, what we call it, and possess very low molecular weight and higher solubility. So because of all having this, we are going to classify them as micromolecules. Examples of simple sugars, nucleotides, and amino acids. Then what are macromolecules? These are obviously large sized. Yes, it is a simple size, so macromolecules will be large size and having a very complex structure. So that's a simple structure, so obviously this is a complex structure, and possess high molecular weight. Here it's low molecular weight and here it's a high molecular weight, low solubility. Because of having a complex structure, obviously it's having a low solubility and complex conformation. So these are the examples of macromolecules. Your complex sugars, that is polysaccharides, nucleic acids, lipids, fatty acids, proteins, all comes under the macromolecules. Then coming to the next type, depending upon the combination, biomolecules are classified into two categories. One is the simple biomolecules and second one is the combination biomolecules. One is the simple biomolecules and second one is the combination biomolecules. Simple means they don't have any combination, simply carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids. But coming to the combination, here example, see the here glycoprotein. So here is a combination of the two things. One is the your carbohydrate, that is glycogen, and another one is a protein. So glycoprotein, lipoprotein, lipids plus proteins, glycolipids, same, your carbohydrate plus lipid, phospholipid, phosphate group plus lipid. So if we are going to have such combination of biomolecules, then those are all classified under the class called as combination biomolecules. So these are the just brief uh, classification of the biomolecules based on the different concepts like chemical composition, molecular weight, and their combination. So let's have a outer look of these each amino acids. So majorly biomolecules are going to be of four types that we will discuss, that is carbohydrates, then your nucleic acids, then proteins and fatty acids. So let's look it. So here are the four groups of biomolecules that we are going to discuss is carbohydrates, and these are lipids, and these are the nucleic acids. By these figures you may come to know what are these, and then this is the proteins. Okay, so let's see the first one, carbohydrate. So carbohydrates, as we know, these are the organic compounds containing carbon, hydrogen and oxygen in the ratio 1:2:1. So these are located in the cell wall and occasionally in internal storage granules also they are present in the form of glycogen, isn't it? And then what are the functions of this carbohydrates? They are acting as an energy fuel stores, and they are also present in extracellular structural components. And what are the examples of these carbohydrates? Like glucose, starch, cellulose, all your carbohydrate sources comes under here. Okay, so these are all about the carbohydrates. in brief. Okay, then coming to the lipids. So lipids, these are greasy or oily hydrocarbon derivatives found mainly in your cytoplasmic membrane, that is plasma membrane, and some cell walls also we can find, that is in bacterial cell wall. Lipopolysaccharide is made up of lipids, and storage granules also we are having the thing. So your nuts, some of the nuts are going to have this lipids as storage granules. Then what are the functions? So these lipids serve as a structural components of membranes, and they can also um, uh, useful as a fuel stores, and they are going to have some sort of what we call pigments. Then intracellular signals, they are going to act as the intracellular signals in the nervous system. Okay, so these are all the few functions of lipids, and the examples of lipids are going to be of linoleic acid, arachidonic acid, etc. Then coming to the next one is the proteins. Okay, and these are the polymers of amino acids, and most versatile of all biomolecules, because all your metabolisms, everything occurs because of these proteins. And these are found throughout the cell, both as a part of cell structure and as well as the enzymes. Okay, then coming to the functions, form catalytic activity as enzymes, I told you. Then serve as a structural elements, as a building of structural elements, some proteins are essential, and then serve as a signal receptors. Okay, so these are all the functions of your proteins, and examples are casein is a protein that is present in your milk, and albumin is present in the egg yolk. Okay, so these are the examples of proteins. Then move to the nucleic acids. So nucleic acids are going to be of the polymers of nucleotides, and we had two types of nucleic acids, that is DNA and RNA, deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA, that is ribonucleic acid. So DNA, in most of the organisms, it is going to act as a genetic material, but RNA is found in cytoplasm, and it is mainly used in the transcription and translation process. But in certain viruses, this RNA is going to act as a genetic material. Then what are the functions? Obviously we know the DNA is stores and transmits the genetic information, and then the RNA is going to be useful in our protein synthesis. So this is how we are going to have the four types of biomolecules. Okay, in brief, we discussed about these four, that is carbohydrates, then lipids, then proteins, and nucleic acids. So that's all about the biomolecules. Thank